Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Bizzy. I hope you enjoyed today's story. And if you do, please subscribe. Here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 520 on Conversations with Bizzy. How is everybody today? I hope this finds you well. It is, oh my gosh, it's February 5th. Happy February. I hope you guys enjoyed yesterday's podcast with Sheriff Mark Lamb. That was by far one of my favorite episodes I've ever done. I have to tell you guys, one of my favorite. Because I had heard him on Sean Ryan's podcast, if you hadn't listened. And I heard him, and his story was so unbelievable. Look at my little cat behind me. You can't see her because the camera doesn't have her. Oh, there she is. I'm moving this camera. If you're not watching me on YouTube, go tune into my YouTube and you can see my dog. She's literally sitting right over my shoulder. She's like a cat. All right, enough about the dog. But anyway, back to, okay, wait, subscribe to my show. If you're watching me on YouTube or if you're wherever you're listening to me, please subscribe to my show. It means the world to me. Please go to my website and sign up for my newsletter. Go to Conversation with Bizzy, ElizabethChance.com. It all takes you to the same place. And sign up to get my newsletter right into your inbox. And last but not least, if you would like to join my Patreon, you're going to get exclusive little videos there that you're not going to find on the website. You're just going to find them on Patreon. There's just some things I'm putting on Patreon and not putting here on my podcast or on my website. I'm just putting it on Patreon for paid subscribers. So if you would like to get some of this exclusive content, go to my Patreon. And that, by the way, the link will be in my description. You can just go and click all of these. You can click to get my newsletter. You can click to go to Patreon. You can click to go to any of my websites. So please, please, please do that. And it has been, what a week. What a week. So yesterday's podcast was amazing. When I heard Mark Lamb on Sean Ryan's podcast from July of this past 2024. And I heard him and his story. And when he talked about going to Argentina and seeing, oh, you just listen to the podcast. You've got to go listen to the podcast. But when he talked about his trip to Argentina, totally mind blowing and totally, wow. And I wanted to hear that up close. And he doesn't normally tell that story. And he says that in the podcast yesterday. 2 days ago, he normally doesn't ever tell that story, and for some reason he said yes to telling me the story. I don't know why, but he did, and I am so grateful for that. So I hope you will take time to listen to it. He also talks about his son's battle with addiction and what ultimately happened to his son and how his family has gotten through forgiveness and hope, and they keep walking and they keep doing, and they're still public servants, him and his wife. And it's just amazing stuff yesterday. And I really hope you took the opportunity to go and listen to it. And if you haven't, go back and listen to it. It's episode 519. And again, that was up on Wednesday. And you guys know I record on Thursday. So it's Thursday afternoon. I never do it this late. I mean, Tuesday afternoon. Tuesday afternoon. I never do it this late. But it's been a day. And so I finally sat down and I'm like, I've got to do my podcast. What am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about with these guys? What am I going to talk about? Well, there's a couple things I'm going to talk about today. Some of those being the Eagles are playing in the Super Bowl. And we all know that I'm from Philadelphia. So it's really important for me that the Eagles, I really hope they win. I also want to talk about feelings aren't facts and friendships and mixed emotions and messaging. And it is such, I've been really thinking about all these things, the emotions, sports, friendships, people coming and people going in our lives and what it all means. And not holding on so tight, I think is the biggest takeaway I'm going to give you guys today. You're like, oh, good. I don't have to listen anymore. She already gave me the takeaway. No, I really believe that we all are on a journey, and it's all mixed messaging. I feel like there's a lot of mixed messaging right now. And it's been going on for years, I think, at this point. Like the media says one thing that if you watch regular television, which I do not, or you watch YouTube channels and things like that, that you see different things in the news. And so you have mixed messaging all the time. And it has been really a challenge for me personally. But let's first start off with the Super Bowl and the Eagles. So I don't know if any of you guys know this, but I grew up in St. Louis, as a lot of you know, and I grew up when the Cardinals lived and played in St. Louis. And I'm not just talking about the baseball Cardinals, the football Cardinals. And growing up, it was sports were always big in my house. My dad always had, I mean, this is before you could have two screens going on the same TV. Like you could have four screens in one screen on your TV, maybe even six screens. I don't even know, probably even more if you have even a fancier TV. But growing up, my dad had two TVs, just two real like plug-in TVs. And of course one was really small and one was a little bit bigger, but he was watching his game. So football's always been a part of my life, even though I can really honestly say today, I mean, I know a little bit more than I did, obviously, when I was a kid, but not so much. I'm not like a huge into the rules and all of that. My husband really does try to teach me. But anyway, so I'm going to fast. So I grew up with the Cardinals. They leave. Then I moved to Washington, D.C. to go to college. And the Redskins go to the Super Bowl with Joe Gibbs as their coach, and they win the Super Bowl. Now, prior to going into the Super Bowl, I was out in Colorado, and prior to going skiing, even though I like to tell people that I was skiing already, I wasn't. Prior to going skiing, I was in Boulder, and I was running down the street, and I had my cowboy boots on. I was sliding, shh, shh, shh. And wow, that was this time of year. Think about it. That's crazy. And I broke my ankle in three places, and I had it wrapped up. I didn't have them operate on it in Colorado. I just didn't feel like, I'm like, I've got to get back to the East Coast for whatever reason. I'm so glad I did. Because in Colorado, they're like, we're going to cut you open and we're going to put screws in and we're going to put plates in and we're going to do all this stuff to you. And I'm like, no, 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 time out, time out, time out. I'm going to go back to the East Coast and have a doctor in Washington, D.C. look at it, which I did. He casted it and it was fine. I didn't have to have any surgery. Thank you, God. But when I had a cast, I had a Redskins cast. Now, again, I don't know a ton about football. I just know that it's cool and boys love it. And so that's the truth about it. So I was always really drunk and really enjoying the game. And that was another reason to get drunk, right? Because it's like football. It's Sunday. It's time to get drunk. We're going to watch a game. And always, always, always loved that. And always, I even remember living with my best friend, and she and I would have it on because we thought, well, if anybody stops by, we have to be watching football, even though we don't know what's going on. It's just been so crazy to think back to that. And then, but to the Eagles. So I moved to Philadelphia, and the Eagles are obviously a really big deal. And everybody's like, Eagles, 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 Eagles. And my sister, her and her husband have tickets, and they're like totally into it. And one time they had made it to the playoffs. It was not like, it was a game that was happening that didn't really matter. They were already going to the playoffs. And they obviously did not win the Super Bowl because this was when my son was 7. So that's like 21 years ago. This is when I took him to a game. And so my son's 7. And I remember taking him to this game in Philadelphia and being like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so great. Actually, I was still drinking then. That's how long ago it was. Um, and getting to the game, and we had my brother-in-law's seats. Thank you again to him. And we got there, and I was like, oh my gosh. Now I'm from Missouri. Like, people, like, we clap at everybody. Yay for every team. It doesn't matter. We love everybody. So everybody's clapping at everybody else. But here in Philadelphia, no bueno. No, we don't like you. We don't like you. It's the only place for a long time that had a police station in the bottom of the vet. And I think there is one in the Link too. And Lincoln Financial Field, we call it the Link if you're from Philadelphia. And but I brought my son there, and it was just like F bomb after F bomb after F bomb. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's 7 years old. I thought I was taking him to a football game, this Eagles game, and it was going to be so calm and just like it was in St. Louis, which is, baseball, apple pie, football, apple pie. We're from Missouri. We're like the middle of the country, like everybody. Not so much. So, but there, I realized how important the Eagles were and how important they are and how much the city loves them. The city loves the Eagles. It is just, it's unbelievable. I don't remember this when I was younger. I remember the Redskins being a big deal because one of my roommates in college and one of my dearest friends, had a big stake in that. She grew up in that area, so she loved the Redskins. But this Eagles and the people who love the Eagles and the heart that they have is absolutely amazing. Um, it's just, there's nothing like going to Lincoln Financial Field and going to a game. And for the Eagles that have been playing so hard and so well this year, it's amazing. And I'm so excited for them that they've made it again to the Super Bowl and they're playing the Chiefs again. Now, I do like the Chiefs because now they are the closest team to St. Louis because they're in Kansas City. And I've always watched, I like Mahomes. I do like Mahomes. The other Kelsey could care less about, and the whole other drama with that could care less. I could care less, but I like Mahomes. He's an amazing player, and I think him and Travis Kelsey do wonders with the ball. So that is appealing about it. But I really pray the Eagles win. I really, really want the Eagles to win, and it's been a disappointment for them. They've gotten here before and they haven't made it. But let's have this happen again, you guys. Let's have another home. Let's bring home the is it the Heisman Trophy or whatever? It's one of the trophies. Oh my gosh, isn't that terrible? See, I'm a fair weather friend. I don't know that much about football, obviously, but I hope they bring home the Super Bowl trophy and they all get a ring. And that on Sunday night, we are celebrating and we are going fly, Eagles fly on the road to victory. Fly, Eagles fly with a countdown 1, 2, 3. Hit them low, hit them high, and watch those Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles fly to the road to victory. EAGLES, Eagles. So we hope the Eagles win. And feelings aren't facts. Wowza, 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 wowza. I've had this feelings aren't facts hit me in the face a lot. A lot. It's so interesting to me, at least as a human being, that I have these feelings sometimes, and sometimes I'll get up and I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but I get up and I'm like, I don't want to deal with anybody. I don't like anybody. I have dark feelings towards a lot of people. And I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like that. And these are all feelings, right? The feelings I'm feeling depressed. I'm feeling lonely. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling um less than. I feel sometimes more than. I feel shame. I feel remorse. I feel bitterness. I feel contempt. I feel contempt prior to investigation. I feel I'm an egomaniac with an inferiority complex. I'll do that again. I feel like an egomaniac with an inferiority complex. Now, where did I hear that first? Of course, in 12-step room, not in my, I did not make that one up. And so these feelings come, right? These feelings come in the morning a lot for me, more in the morning than it happens in the morning. You know, feelings of like what impending doom. What do I have to do today? Oh my gosh, I don't want to have to do that today. I don't want to have to do that today. Why did I say yes to this? I don't want to do that. Why did I say yes? I would go there. I just want to reverse. I wish I had said no. Why didn't I say, let me think about it? Oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. Why did I say yes? This is so crazy. I knew I didn't really want to do this, but why did I say yes? And I got into this place of this spin. You know what I'm talking about? The spin of these feelings. They're just spinning and they all pop up like a whack-a-mole game. You know, it's like 1 minute I'm like, I don't like them. I don't like this. I don't like that. And all these feelings come up. And you put so much on these feelings. You're like, I feel this way. It has to be real. It's real. And in this moment, in that moment, you're feeling that feeling. It is real. It's 110% real. It's important to you and it's a feeling you're feeling. But the reality is, within seconds, that feeling of less than and remorse and sadness can turn to joy and anticipation and happiness and um oh my gosh, anticipation, excitement, um joy. I've said all these words already. um Pride, honor, um you filled with grace, you're filled with love, your heart is just so filled, like literally in a matter of seconds that can happen. In seconds we can change. Feelings don't always stay there. Now, I understand that some people have medical conditions where they really physically cannot change the feeling themselves. They need to take medication, and I appreciate that. Always speak to your doctor before you take any medication. And I really believe that everybody needs to be 90 days totally sober and clean to be able to like decide what they need and what they don't need, because it's hard to give somebody medication if you don't know what they normally are at this level. But again, all with a doctor. Always speak to a doctor. I am not a doctor. I don't even play one on TV. So I'm just giving you my story about my life and where it goes for me. And I hope you can take what you need and leave the rest. But to go on forward with my feelings and realizing that for me, it literally can be seconds that I feel something that's so dark, and seconds later I feel light. Like, why did I fly off the handle? Why did I act a certain way? Why did I have such a such a quick to jump at somebody? Why am I so, and I know there's better adjectives to use than I'm using right now, but why am I so quick to jump at somebody, or quick to pass judgment, or to yell at somebody, or to berate somebody, or to make myself less than, put them up here? Why? And I think a lot of it starts with HALT, which is hungry, angry, lonely, tired. And you're like thinking, what? So if I'm hungry or I'm lonely, and I can be lonely in a room full of people. I can be lonely if I don't get with God in the morning. I can be lonely all day. And then if I'm tired, and if you're feeling sick, that's another thing that can make you, if you're feeling like a little off because you're getting a cold and it's that time of year. I mean, my husband right now has horrible bronchitis and he's had it for a week. But if you're feeling any of those feelings, you're not going to be on the game, right? So you're not going to be on your beam, which to me, a beam is like in the middle, right? So if you're on a balance beam, you're right there in the middle. You're not too far over to the left and you're not too far over to the right. You're just right there in the middle. You're like, I'm feeling pretty good. I've got God. I turned my will in my life over to God this morning. I might have to do it again. And I'm walking and I'm walking and I'm just like having to breathe. And I have to realize like everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be right now. It's just is. This is the way it is. It's not comfortable, but it's not forever. That's like the big thing. It's like acknowledging. It's taking a moment to take that deep breath and go, this is what I'm feeling. It's not real. I've remembered feeling this way before, and all I needed to do was move a muscle and change a thought. And that's what they say all the time: move a muscle, change a thought. So, with that, like you can get up, walk outside, take a walk. I mean, I know in certain places in this country, it's really cold. I just looked in Minnesota, it's like -5 or something crazy, crazy, crazy. But wherever you are, open your window and just breathe in the air if you have to. I don't know if it's too cold to physically go outside. I totally get it. Do not do that. But if you can open your window of your bedroom and just breathe in the air, I think that will change things. Taking a cold shower changes things because it wakes you up. You're like, whoa, okay, I'm awake now. And it changes everything. It wakes all of your muscles up in a different way than they normally are awake right now, this time of year, especially if you're not jumping in cold water, unless you're one of those people like Joe Rogan who has got an ice bath in the back of your yard, which is so cool. But anyway, not to digress, but these feelings are not facts. And that's like the biggest thing. We have to realize that we are humans and our feelings are going to change all the time. And I change my mind all the time. And I like to admit that now Because for so long I'd make these like as a younger person, you make these blanket statements like I'm never going to do that. And I'm never going to do this. And the reality is I've done all those things that I said I'm never going to do. Yeah. Because I think that me putting that blanket statement of I'm never, ever, ever going to do this or do that really limits me. It puts me in a box. And I don't want to be in a box. I have no interest in being in a box. And I know you probably have no interest in being in a box. So don't do that to yourself. Don't make this blanket statement that you're never going to do this or never going to do that. Now, I pray I'm never going to drink again. That's the only thing I can say I'm never going to do. But that's what I say for today. And I have to say it every day. Because if I don't, I could very well pick up a drink. Because I could wake up and say, oh, wait a minute. What do you mean? What do you mean? I didn't say that. I didn't say that today that I'm not going to drink. So let me have one. So it's really, really, really owning who I am and protecting that one thing for sure is I'm not going to drink. But everything else is kind of up for grabs. I'm not going to do crazy things. But you know what I mean? I'm willing to take direction. I'm willing to hear other people's opinions. I like to hear other people's thoughts. I like to hear all those things because they help me grow. If somebody gives me the opportunity of sharing their opinion or sharing their comments or sharing their thoughts with me, I think that is what helps me grow as a human being. Because if I'm just only looking at me and getting feedback from me about me, I'm not, how can I grow? It's limiting. It's like, because I only am this much of a person, right? And if we all come together as a community and help each other by even sharing your thoughts, I think it's such a blessing. And I feel so honored if somebody gives me their opinion because they've actually taken the time and thought about it and said, you know what, I'm going to give her my opinion. And I feel grateful for that. Do you know what I mean? I feel so grateful for that. And, you know, mixed messages. I don't know what this means, you guys. Tell me what you think. So, I've been going to church pretty much my entire life. So, I'm 56 years old. Um, I've been here for over 5 decades, and I went to church on Sunday, and they were reading the prayers for the people. Now, they used to say, and we're going to pray for our president George, and we're going to pray for our vice president Dick, and whoever. I don't even know who I'm talking about right now, but anyway, but they'd say we would pray for our politicians. We'd pray for our president with their name. And now we don't do that. That's over. We just pray for all elected officials. Isn't that interesting? What does that mean? What does that mean? So back in the day you could say their name, now you can't? I don't understand it. It's such mixed messaging. It's like, wait a minute. We go and we vote for somebody to win the presidency. And now we're so worried we're going to hurt everybody's feelings that we can't say the person's name in church. Because we can't all, as a congregation or community, pray for that president, can we? Why not? Like, is that weird? I think it's so strange. It's been dumbfounding me since it's what day? It's Tuesday. So it happened Sunday. And I'm still thinking about it. I'm like, why in the prayers for the people does it not say, and we are going to pray for our president, Donald? It doesn't say that. Now, maybe in some churches, but here in South Florida, where I've been, they are not saying and prayers to our president, to our leader, or our prayers for Donald, or something like that. Why are we not praying for our leaders? Because he doesn't deserve prayers? Because he is our leader right now. Like last I checked, he is our president. And we're not going to pray for him because that's bad. I don't understand. I truly do not understand. I know for majority of my life, we prayed for our leaders and now we don't. We just pray for elected officials because everything's PC so nobody gets hurt feelings. Like, seriously? How do you ever, are people ever going to go through life if you don't have a hurt feeling ever? Like, if you just go through life and everything's like, you know, I'm so happy everything's perfect because it's the way I like it. And I don't see anything I don't like. It's all okay. It's fine. They don't, they everything's perfect. I don't hear anything that's negative against what I like. It all has to be what I like. And if it isn't what I like, I can take my ball and go home and cry. That's what 2-year-olds do, right? That's what you do when you're 10. But as adults, really, we can't do that. We can't pray for somebody that we might not have voted for. But I know this, like if I were in the company of, let's say if I saw Joe Biden, I would have bowed my head. I would have, I would have waved. I would have been pray for him because he was our leader, because people elected him in, even though I didn't. But I still was like, I have to respect him. He's our he's our president. But now you're telling me that now that Donald Trump's president, we aren't going to pray for him at church. Okay. It's a little mixed messaging, isn't it? Get out there, vote, do all of this stuff, but it doesn't matter in church. It doesn't matter. No. It's it's hard. It's hard at times because we have mixed messaging from friends. We get mixed messaging from our media and from friends. It's like, have you ever had a friend that has said to you, you're on the phone with them and they say, all right, well, we're going to go to dinner or we're going to have lunch tomorrow at 12:30, and you make this plan and you think, well, okay, I'm going to write it in my book. I just made this plan with Daphne and I made this plan with her and I'm going to go and have lunch with her tomorrow at 12:30. And then the person never says another word about it. And you're like, wait a minute, I thought we made this plan. And they're like, totally dissed you. Totally dissed you. And it hurts your feelings. And you're like, why did that happen? Has that ever happened to you? Where you really thought you made a plan with somebody and they just totally did not show? How'd that make you feel? For me, it made me feel terrible. But I can only do me, right? At the end of the day. And I hate to say that because so many people hate me saying that, like, you do you, boo boo. But the reality is, if I don't take care of me, it's not my friends aren't going to. I've just realized that through decades of friendships, some that have come, many that have gone, and realizing I can't put too much on anything except for that relationship I have with God and my husband and my family. That's why for so long I think they said, you know, blood is so much thicker than water, and family means so much. And for me, it's like the most important thing is my family, because friends go, friends go. Really, family goes too, but at least I think they might come back. I think I've hope that the family will come back, and maybe I'm insane to think that, but I think that I hope for that. I hope for my family to come back together. I hope for joy back and peace in my family. And it's something I've longed for my whole entire life is to have a family that just came together. My husband always was like the Waltons. I know if you guys have heard him on my show, he talks about that, the Waltons all the time. But for me, it's just like having that just friendships with your family and love towards our family. And our families are so important. And friends are important too. Don't get me wrong. I've had some friends for my whole life, but it's just some people that you newly meet as a grown up. You're like, this person's awesome. And then 2 seconds later, you're like, what just happened? I thought they were awesome. And now not so much. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Will you let me know your thoughts? I want to hear you. I want to hear from you. I want you to let me know your thoughts, and we're going to go more deeply into this next week. So you have to write to me at elizabeth@elizabethchance.com. And what are your thoughts on friendships and how they come and they go, and making friends as somebody over 50 and what that is like? Will you write to me and tell me what you thought is what it's like? Because I'd love to hear your opinions. As I mentioned earlier, I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear your opinions because they matter. and you have a story I'd love to hear. So please share with me. Again, you can reach out to me on all social media, Conversations with Bizzy. I'm on every platform you could ever want. Look on the side of the description. You can click everything I'm on. You can reach out to me there and DM me, or you can email me at elizabeth@elizabethchance.com. But just know this, you are not alone. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for spending 30 minutes of your life with me. It means the world to me. I can't even tell you. I feel so honored. And know this, you are not alone. You are not alone. As much as your head might tell you that it's not true. It's a lie. And last but not least, go birds. See you guys next week. Take care. Bye. Thanks for listening to Conversations with Bizzy. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, if you could subscribe, that would mean the world to me. And follow me on all social media. And you can also get my newsletter every Friday morning into your inbox. Just go to elizabethchance.com and subscribe. Take care.